What's happening, man? I guess this will be a pregame. I don't think I intended on it to be that until literally just now. So yesterday I posted a video that I ended up calling Dark Epiphany because it's very personal. It does apply to my research in a big way, but it's personal. It has to do with my experiences in my life and some consistencies in details that I started to notice in Eve Lorgan's work. And so I can't say it's just within the interest of my research, generally, but both for both my research for the project, but also, obviously I wanted to know more for my own personal stuff. So I continue to listen to interviews and more stuff. More stuff, dude. This is it's really disturbing. It's really freaking me out, and I don't really have a lot to go on other than my experiences that I'm starting to realize a lot of them were very, very much misinterpreted because I was a child, or, just assuming that it was something not so nefarious because even as an adult, why would you want to assume, such like malicious, nefarious shit being, attached to your existence, to your life. This shit's heavy. This shit's fucking heavy. And honestly, you know, in the interest, I'm always gonna be as honest as I can be, with self-preservation and whatnot in mind. But again, I'm gonna stop prefacing it after this. Just assume that when I talk about stuff within this conversation, even if it's beyond this video, that I mean for the project and personally, I'm being honest and I'm sharing everything that I can. I This is shit that I would have potentially made fun of, dude. That's what's really fucking with me. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff really fucking with me, but this is shit that I would have made fun of. Seriously, I almost think I have, but that was the specifically the super soldier stuff. But even then, like I said yesterday, I'm starting to notice things that are kind of connected to that, but not for me. Basically saying like the super soldier stuff comes up within these conversations a lot. I'm not making any assertions as far as that goes. I have no memories that have anything to do with being in some kind of secret soldier program or any of that shit. I'm still very like, it's hard to believe that stuff, which is dumb. I'll call myself dumb for that because as I've made this like progression in in consciousness and as a researcher, I've come across stuff that I don't think I ever would have like denied necessarily, but I definitely, I don't know how to say it, dude. I don't know how to say it. Like I've come across some things that definitely seem very science fiction, like very much like a fucking X-Files episode, or like a science fiction novel or whatever, fiction. But I've said myself, I don't think fiction is real. I think that's just a cover to get us to not believe certain things, so that if we come across them, even if in person, we just don't accept it. And that's genius. That is a genius way to keep, especially such a small group of beings, such a small percentage of beings, from having the epiphany. Even if they come across it, even if it's slapping them in the face, they still, in one way or another, deny it. Whether it's personal stuff or whether it's like just, some shit you come across on social media or the news or whatever, as I'm listening to these interviews, like more and more shit that she's saying, I'm like, my brain is instantly connecting it to shit that I have had in my life. And even things that I've already brought up, like I told that story about not really knowing my dad's dad and only seeing him once. And it was very like a very creepy experience. And I don't even remember hearing him speak. I just have the one memory of them opening the door. I'm in front of the door for some reason. They open it. I'm put in front of the door when they open it. And I look up to this very like tall, ominous looking dude who looks down at me. And it's like nighttime and it's raining. That's all I fucking remember. And the reason I bring that up is because just a little while ago, I'm listening to her kind of give, common scenarios and details of beings that go through certain types of shit and are apparently a part of certain, like, she keeps saying bloodlines, and I'm trying to, like, hold on to what I consider to be reality for me. So when she starts talking about, oh, well, this happens to certain bloodlines a lot of the time, it's not random. I talk about that sometimes, but I'm like a little farther removed from it. So when I'm now thinking about it as a possibility connected to me, it doesn't feel real. And I look back on my entire life and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing that shows me being a part of a bloodline or whatever. And then I chuckle to myself. But then as she keeps talking and giving examples of these things, I'm like, okay, well, that's one, but that doesn't mean anything. And it just keeps happening like that. She just got done saying a little while ago, just because they're not rich doesn't mean they're not a part of a bloodline. And as I hear her say that, I start to think on that for a second, and I'm like, fuck, if you were trying to really keep one of these beings from realizing or being conscious of this, whatever you want to call it, like experiment, agenda, fucking, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, would you want them to know that they come from that bloodline at all? Whether, and it's not even to say that, they're just hiding that we're rich or some shit. I guess I'm more so saying, like, it doesn't have to be that. Like she said, literally, it doesn't have to be that. Not just, they're keeping from you that your family comes from some kind of, like, wealthy bloodline, but also it might not be a wealthy bloodline. It might just be literally the name, the genetics, the lineage. And it's like, I'm honestly I think I'm also listening just as much to be able to debunk it for myself. So I can be like, all right, cool. That was fucking silly, right? That I even entertained that for a little bit. That was silly. Now we can get back to like regular life, regular existence. The more I'm listening, the less able I am to do that. And it's really fucking with me on a level that is, more than I would want. More than I want. And the thing that sucks is, like, even to talk about this, rather than others respecting you trying to figure things out about yourself or understand your experience thus far and so on, the instant thought is, oh, this person is crazy. And that's fucked up. And I'm pretty sure I've even kind of, maybe not with this specific topic, but with the super soldier shit, I just immediately assume, oh, this person is either faking or they're crazy and need attention or something like that. And it's like, now I'm starting to realize how unfair that is unless I feel that off of them. I'm still going to go with that. Intuition is very important to me. So if I get that vibe like, oh, you're LARPing or this is like your kind of devious way to make money, then I'll keep with that. I trust that. But for those that aren't really, they're just like telling their story in more of like an organic way, I feel bad about thinking that way now. Because it's like, you never know how close you may end up to something that you looked at in a certain way previously. And the more that I listen to this shit, the more examples that she gives that I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't check that one off. I can't get rid of that one because of XYZ. And there's details and stories that I've already told, kind of in passing, with my dad, that keep coming back around. And I mean, when I think about it, the dude supposedly like sired me, right? And then for most of my life is gone. And the given story is military, and I did see him in uniform. I did go to like his job sometimes and all kinds of shit. But it doesn't have to be a fake story. It could be that he was in the military, but also a Freemason. Or it could be like just an elaborate, like, this is why he's been gone type, show. And does that even matter for any of this research stuff? Probably not as much, unless I can get that information or, corroborate that somehow. But for me, it fucking matters, obviously, because this is, it's fucked up. It's like a disturbing level of like, oh, I thought I understood what my existence around those time frames were, but now I'm not so sure. And I'm using context from all of it, not just like hearing one thing and being like, oh, that's it. It's building on itself to be like, okay, well, I can't really debunk this like easily like I thought I'd be able to. I think I'm mostly listening to try to do that. I'm still hearing out, her research and work so that I can be like, oh, okay, so this, and this show me that like, although there's some consistencies, it's, I almost said coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidence. Ha. A lot of the shit that I've kind of built as my view and framework for how I see this place and experience is kind of like coming back around to bite me right now as I'm contemplating this very personal aspect of it. It sucks. It's coming back around to be like, you don't believe in those. Remember you said that? I don't believe in coincidences. So it would be dishonest and disingenuous of me to be like, oh, but these are coincidences. This is fucking weird. And it's not just like the things that it's a bunch of stuff that I've talked about in various like random videos. Like in one of the dream shows, I talk about one of the experiences I had was, I think I had something woke me up. I thought I had some kind of dream, but I don't remember a dream. All I remember was waking up, going to my parents' room. This is one of the very few times I remember them sleeping in the same room, being in the same household, going to their room. As I come around the corner and look into the room, there is, fuck it, dude. There is something next to their bed, next to my dad. It is glowing, brilliantly glowing, but it's not shining on anything else in the room. So it's glowing heavily. It's very luminescent, but nothing else in the room is showing like the light's not hitting anything else in the room. Maybe my dad and the bed and stuff, but like the walls and all the shit that would usually light up from such a brilliant light source, none of it's lighting up. And it turns and looks at me as it notices that I'm coming around the corner into the room. And that's all I remember. That's all I remember. And there's other dream stories that I've told. There's other scenarios that weren't dreams that I've told. Like, all these things are coming together to be like, fuck, dude, like... And it's not... Okay, so the reason why that I'm more capable of being like, oh shit, this could be something, this could actually mean something, is because I don't necessarily think that this is like, oh, it's aliens, because governments have programs to do shit that to look like aliens, to look like that, so that they can do nefarious shit and then have something to put it off on. So like there are many experiencers or abductees as they used to like, you know, be called, where a lot of the evidence points toward their experiences being more government, you know, involved than aliens. Many of the aspects of it seemed alien, but when they do like regressions and shit like that, it's basically just the government doing stuff to like make them think that. Which I've said before, there are intelligence agencies that will go to wherever, not just other countries, but they'll wherever they need to, they will stage things, and they'll stage shit that you wouldn't think, like vampire stuff and zombie stuff, like they'll stage metaphysical things to do something and then be able to have complete deniability, because it's like, vampires? This guy is obviously crazy. Lock him up, you know? So these things that I'm talking about, I'm not saying them as though they're necessarily literal. What I'm saying is they do things to make them look like that type shit. So it's like, had a government job, was in the military, Freemason, like, and then those two things are very contextual and not that big a deal by themselves. But once I add all of this other me shit that I remember, or am starting to remember some of it, it gets more fucked up. It gets more fucked up, and like it creates a bunch of questions that I can't answer unless I gain more memory back, or unless I fucking go ask the dude who now is like, has an aversion to talking to me. I made efforts to like, you know what, let's chalk that other shit up to whatever it was, you know, between you and mom or whatever, and let's try to have a relationship. That shit didn't work. The dude does not want to talk to me, but won't just say that. So we'll like talk for a little bit and then he'll just stop answering. And I took that personally, but now I'm like, is it because you are instructed not to, or because you feel guilty, or you know what I mean, like something else along with not wanting to I don't know, dude. This feels so fucking dumb because I'm being self-conscious, and I'm trying to be as open as I can, because when I opened the door on doing this research and shit, I didn't actively think it, but I made kind of like a contract with myself, or an agreement, I won't say contract, an agreement with myself to be as forthcoming as possible with the process. And I didn't think about it in the moment, but I think that included me. If stuff started to like, you know, implicate or identify or, you know, whatever with me, that meant me too. So I'm not going to just say everything, because I'm still trying to, honestly, the main reason I won't say everything is because I'm trying to safeguard myself. Because though I see others share all kinds of shit, and, you know, people call them names and treat them in specific ways, but they don't try to like lock them up or put them in facilities and shit like that. But like, I don't trust that. I don't trust that to not be something that's attempted on me, because it's already been attempted once, you know? Not specifically for this, as far as I know, but I don't know that. I don't fucking know that. This shit is very weird, but it makes certain aspects of my experience make a bit more sense, at least, if not a lot more sense. And it's very overwhelming, and it's very isolating, and I don't know how to handle it necessarily. It's not like flooring me to where I can't function or anything, but it's a lot, dude. This is a fucking lot, you know? Some of this is like bringing weird memories back and shit. Like, I made fun of this stuff, and now this is happening. So, cool, I guess. I'm not gonna like stop, because what's that gonna accomplish other than now I've created all these extra questions you know, on top of the ones that I already had in a general sense. So now I'm just like stuck in it. Not stuck. I need to know. I want to know, but very uncomfortable. And like I'm really self-conscious because, you know, I I don't like the idea of, actually I don't care. I don't care about looking crazy. I just don't like the potentiality of that being weaponized against me, because freedom of speech, you know, I say theory a lot and many other things that are protected. You could even call it freedom of press. There's a bunch of shit that you could attribute to this, but I've witnessed through my own treatment that these rights are conditional. They're not real rights, they're conditional. So that's not necessarily great, but like at the same time, I have been very sick of fear. So like it's not a question of, oh, okay, so maybe you stop talking, or it's not a question of that. It's just a discomfort. It's a discomfort in those potentialities, I guess. And then even with this current stuff that's going on with my kid's mom, like that person and how that has unfolded and how it even started makes more fucking sense now, which is creepy, you know? Everything that happened in that state was and is creepy. And there's parts of it that are really, really disturbing if they're true. And I don't have good reason to completely write them off. I don't have good reason to write them off. That many people are not just making the same thing up. That many people are not just making something up. There's always situations where some of them are attention seeking, or some of them, you know, embellish, possibly because of the part of it that's true, that the trauma from this manifests in different ways. And so it's possible that some of them, you know, feel better when they get attention or when they get empathy and sympathy for the things that they really did go through, and so they start to embellish. That's a thing too, but still, this many are not making all of this shit up that is very consistent in how it's described and detailed, you know? So for me to write it off or to make fun of it now, especially when I am adding some context to it with personal experience, that would be delusional. I would be delusional to do that, and I'm not gonna do it. So there's lots of stuff that's being discussed in these interviews and in her work and in their work. It's not just her. There's many others that go into, I didn't even know this was a lane of shit. I didn't know that this was a lane of stuff, like, but it definitely pertains to my research. Like, this is a part of said simulation, because what I've been coming to within my research is that it's at least a dual simulation, meaning or actually a tri-simulation, 3 aspects. So there's the perception and mental aspect of it, the psyops and social engineering and you know, indoctrination and many other aspects that are mental. There's the physical, this place physically, and then there's the spiritual aspect of it. And my research is not leading me to, oh, okay, so this is like, you know, it's a misunderstanding, or it's, you know, it's not leading me to any of that. It's proving a lot of it. It's proving most of it, much of it. And some of it is definitely, you know, some of it's not physical evidence, but enough of it is And then when you look at the non-physical evidence, like experiences and testimonies and things like that, too many of them match up. Too many of them are too alike to write off. And so that adds a sort of corroboration that can't be ignored. I won't say it's definitive, but it can't be ignored. So like, there's this whole new aspect of this research that has opened itself to my perception that's overwhelming because, you know, I didn't expect it to be that, but it involves me, seemingly. So, yeah. I don't know. It's, I really, really wish I could talk to some others that I can kind of confirm have similar experiences, maybe those that have come around to this stuff before me. Meaning I would rather kind of conversate with some or interview or whatever with some that have more experience and more research done. More regressions, more memories, you know, just more advanced than where I'm at with it. Not someone else that's just kind of coming to right now. Though I would talk to them too. I would talk to them too. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't. Just, you know, my urge is not the right word. I don't know the right word though, so I'm just going to use it. Is to speak to someone that could give more answers than questions. I guess that's what I'm saying. I would still speak to someone that is where I'm at because, you know, just for the camaraderie, if nothing else. But, you know, if I started to get the feeling that they were like trolling me or making fun of me or you know, making it up for attention or some kind of other weird stuff, I would just stop talking to them. I don't know. I don't even know how to go about that. I think I have to email this lady and let her know, like, hey, I know this is what you do, so you may not care about this. I don't have money to give you, but I need help. I need to figure this shit out, you know? This is both personal and research, and it's becoming slightly overwhelming trying to, like, figure out, you know, what directions to go in for the research, because this is just an aspect of my overall research, my more broad and general research. But it's opened this door to this giant, like, you know, new area of the map. You know what I mean? To give it some depth or whatever. I don't know. So I guess I need to email her, see what kind of correspondence I may be able to get. It may be worth it to just try to figure out a way to if I have to find a way to pay her, I may need to just for the, but I mean, I'm kind of like apprehensive about that because I don't want one of those situations where, you know, like, for those that maybe pay for like card readings or life, what is it? Life path and gematria and all that stuff. I've seen lots of people, I assumed this already, but I've seen lots of beings do that and then be very, very disappointed with the results of, you know, not only the process, but then the effort in question answering or the effort in the service itself or whatever it may be. And I would be very bummed if I reached out to this lady and she was like, you know, just kind of a business versus like really wanting to help people. It doesn't seem that way by any means, but I don't put that past people just from experience. But she also claims to be one of us. She claims, and I don't mean those that have experienced what I'm talking about, but like my overall thing, my overall research, like looking for us. She claims to be one of us and also claims that the us that I'm looking for is also targeted in these ways specifically. This is important for the overall research, but it's important for me too. I don't know. I think I'm talking in circles now. So, I don't know. I appreciate you listening. I love you. Bye.